Some celebrities have been revealing what it's been like living with the coronavirus. Pink, remember, she tested positive with her baby. Opened up about her and her son's scary battle with the virus. Let's take a look.
My 3-year-old, Jameson, who you just saw, had the worst of it, which
really
many nights where I've cried, and I've never prayed more in my life. It's funny. It's like at one point I heard myself saying, I thought they promised us our kids would be okay.
Meantime, Andy Cohen is recovering from his bout with the virus and is back at work doing his show from home. During his quarantine, he said he lost his sense of smell and appetite. And Chris Cuomo's wife, Christina, posted an update on Instagram saying her husband is feeling, quote, slightly better. She says his recovery routine includes sitting in his sauna. I know it's sauna, but I like to pronounce it that way. Taking walks around the yard, eating organic food, and deep breathing exercises that he says is helping with his lungs. Chris is still doing his show from his basement. Erica, you and I kind of talked about this earlier in the day. He's kind of doing some new techniques of I'm going to fight back and not just lay down and take it. How do you feel about this technique?
I don't know if it's necessarily new, but I do think that he's giving people at least a little empowerment through hope that there are things that we can do for ourselves should we contract this virus. Now, the breathing thing makes a lot of sense to me because I am a person who carries a lot of my stress and anxiety in my chest, and I practice Pilates, and it really opens me up. I generally do it a few times a week for that reason, because we tend to hunch forward, and what he's talking about is the actual fluid that's leveling out in the lungs in order to keep that from settling in. So I don't know medically what that means, but I can tell you the sensation that I get when I am being opened up in that way. So that actually gave me some hope. But I did want to talk about Pink because this is a challenge that a lot of people are facing right now, whether people understand it or not. Pink has a 3-year-old child who also contracted COVID. She herself contracted COVID. How are these parents social distancing when they have children, especially that age? Because at 3 years old, they don't understand mommy can't hold you right now. So no matter what situation you're living in, these are challenges that are very real for a lot of families right now, and people need to have a little bit more understanding as to what this all means.
It's true, Al. I saw a video of, I think, a Saudi Arabian doctor in an elevator getting off, and his son ran up to hug him, and he said, "Stop." And then he sat down and just started crying.
Right there, that video.
Oh God, he couldn't hold him. He couldn't hold his own baby.
That was one of the toughest videos I've ever seen. That was really bad. I saw that video this weekend. But I do think that what Pink said can speak to all of us, because think about how this started. At first, only older people got it, and then, well, a couple people under 40 got it. Well, kids can't get it. Then kids started getting it. Remember the ridiculous rumor that black folks couldn't get it?
Yes.
Now it looks like our community is going to be one of the hardest hit. This is why we need to have, there's a vacuum of facts, and that's why Dr. Coley's segment, as much as it pains me to say it, is more important than my segment or anybody's segment. We need people that know what they're talking about telling us, and that will squash all the rumors. Every day on my Facebook, I get people telling me here's a cure and here's a take Tylenol, all this ridiculous. It's like, if the person is not a doctor or a scientist, you cannot allow them to continue to spew things, even if it's in their best interest. Even if they're trying to be helpful, they're not.
Well, go ahead, Erica.
Al, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because when that rumor was going around social media that black people were immune to getting COVID, we had a conversation in the hair and makeup room, and I was like, I want to know who started this rumor and what was the reason for this rumor starting, because what we've seen in every case is the fact that when we get the information, people start to act. I don't think it's any mistake that in Chicago right now, there's a disproportionate amount of black people who actually have COVID compared to the amount of black people in the entire population of Chicago. The early warnings were the most critical. So when we are disseminating information from whatever source, that was what drove me the most crazy. When I sat down with Dr. Coley, and she looked at me like I had lost my mind because I'm reading something that was on social media that people were just willy-nilly giving out that information. Is it any surprise at this point that the rates are starkly disproportionately higher? And I think we all need to do a better job and really think about the information that we're giving to one another. That's the reason why. And let's just exercise some common sense here, people. When I tell you to stay your ass at home, I'm not talking about first responders. I'm not talking about people who are on the front lines. I'm talking about your friend who's going to a house party and inviting 5 other people, or in the middle of the street like it's Coachella or Freaknik. That's what I'm talking about. So let's be a little bit responsible and actually disseminate the right information so that we can start to save lives, because we've missed the boat for a lot of people, and there should be some heads rolling for that reason.
I can feel your anger. I understand. I don't know what Freaknik is. I wish I did, but I have to be honest. Information in these times can honestly save lives. You're absolutely right. Misinformation, and let me say this, purposeful misinformation can lead to losing lives. So I completely agree with you, Erica. Let's move on to